Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Straight Talk on Social Media. This is Ian Desher, Creative Director from Pivot Group, talking to you on what is a beautiful Friday here in Portland, and I hope it is where you are as well. Today, we're going to be talking about 10 things you've never done on social media. And that might not quite be true. Hopefully it is, though. I'm going to introduce you to some new small things you can do to help out your social media presence. Before I do that, though, we're going to launch into the news from the last month. First of all, Pinterest has made a move toward creating an ad network. Some of the code that they are starting to unveil and some of the tools is pointing in the direction of an ad network. Specifically, they are starting to track in their user agreement. They're changing it so that they are sort of saying that users are agreeing to let Pinterest track where the pin it button is being used, so that Pinterest knows which sites you're going to, and that sort of thing, and the traffic that you may be getting through those sites. And so you can opt out of this. You can go into your privacy settings and change that, but probably, well, undoubtedly, Pinterest is counting on most users just going ahead and letting it happen, which will probably be the case as it is for services like Facebook and Twitter and things like that, other places that are tracking your movements. Pinterest doing this undoubtedly to sort of be able to increase the amount of knowledge that it has about its users and where they're going so that it can be more attractive for advertisers when that time comes. Facebook has just introduced embeddable posts. So this is sort of catching up with services like Twitter and LinkedIn, which have already allowed you to embed posts on certain, on external sites. So you can actually have some code that allows you to embed a post. And now Facebook has finally introduced this. The article that I read was saying that this is really a huge thing for Facebook. The article called it its true public offering was this embeddable posts feature. But here you can see an example of it, of how it looks and how it works. And so it's the way you would expect it to work, just like a Twitter embeddable post. You can see what the post is, and you can interact with it there, and then be taken over to Facebook if you want to be. So just know that is now something that you're able to do through Facebook. An interesting article that I read recently talked about Facebook usage versus primetime television viewing. And what this article was pointing out was that Facebook is, during the primetime hours for TV, Facebook usage is higher than the number of people using Facebook actively is higher than the number of people watching primetime television. So I thought that was interesting, just to show the sort of shift in culture that's happening. Primetime is obviously so named because it's the time when many people are watching TV, and those are the sort of best hours for shows to be on. But now this research showing that, in fact, even more people are using Facebook during that time. So social media really sort of really in some ways taking over as a new source for entertainment in our lives. And my one to watch this week is a service called Tapestry, and you can learn about Tapestry at readtapestry.com. And it's also it's an app on your mobile phone. The way Tapestry works and the sort of shtick that they are trying to get people to appreciate is that when you set up a Tapestry as either a business or an individual, what you're doing is you're setting up a series of images that in some ways tells a story. And then when you have the mobile app or online, when you're viewing it on the website, you can click through this story, but you can't ever go backwards. So it's not like you're swiping back and forth between a story. It really is a narrative that starts in one place and ends at another. And the idea is that Tapestry is there to sort of tell all of these little mini stories. So I thought I would just show you one of these that I saw on Tapestry, which is about learning something about the moon. And you can see sort of how it works. So you would go to this, find this either on their website or on the mobile app. And once you start tapping on it, you can see how the information starts changing. So now we have this question: why does the moon shine? It says, does it generate light like a light bulb? No. The moon is like a mirror. Light hits it and light bounces back. You can see how we're sort of moving through this attractive story-like, interface that's really taking you through this narrative. So then it starts showing you how the sun, how this process works. The sun sends out light. 8 minutes later, and these images are changing just because I'm clicking, so I'm advancing through them as they go. And without the ability to go back, then there's only one way this narrative can unfold. So you can see then how it ends. It is in fact teaching something, and then it ends with moon shakalaka, and then the artist who put it together is offers a little pitch for how to learn more about herself or himself. So that's sort of Tapestry's shtick. I think it's an interesting service, and it will be interesting to see if it takes off as a way for sort of really engaging people in visual stories online. So that's the news that I have. Today's focus, like I said, it's on 10 things you've never done before. So this is, it's really just 10 ideas, mostly focused around the services that you may already be using, or maybe the services that you've thought about using but haven't ever gotten around to. And it's 10 ideas of things that you can do to get started with these services or to go deeper with them. So you'll understand what I mean sort of as we go through. So first of all, sort of cheating with this one, create a Tapestry story, right? Go ahead and think of some process of yours to demonstrate, or think of how you could show off one of your new products in sort of a fun narrative way, and then go ahead and put together these slides and put it out on Tapestry. Tapestry is still sort of a new technology. It's a startup, and so you sort of get that early adopter bonus of people thinking that you're cool because you're using something that not a lot of people have adopted yet. So jumping into Tapestry could be sort of a fun way to make a little splash and really have a fun way illustrating something that will help your customers understand something better about your products or services. Number two, track your Facebook ads. Facebook offers the ability. Many of you run Facebook ads, but you may not actually be tracking them using Facebook's conversion pixel process. So the way conversion pixels work, when you create them, you can name them, and then you give them a category, as you can see here. And then it tells you sort of how to get them onto your website. And so you can see those instructions here. And basically what it says is, it's going to provide you with a little bit of JavaScript that you can embed on your site. And then once that is on your site, then when a Facebook ad takes somebody to that page, and if they take an action and get over to another page, like your checkout page or your confirmation page or whatever page you want to see if people reach, then it's going to be able to track back to your ad campaign and say, not only did this person click through, but they actually then converted all the way over to where you wanted them to be. And so it's really a powerful way to track ROI and something that I think a lot of people aren't using. We are sort of putting these Facebook ads out there without really knowing whether or not they are getting people to the last point of purchase through our website. Excuse me, or even just getting people to whatever point on the website we want them to be, whether it's signing up for a newsletter or taking an action of some kind. Harder, obviously, to judge whether or not somebody is, seeing a Facebook ad and then picking up the phone and calling you. That's a different sort of thing. But if you do have a website process that can be tracked, this is a great way to do it. And also related to Facebook, put your Facebook ad in the news feed. Facebook is now offering these ads in the news feed along with your with the standard ad pricing and all of that. So it's just sort of something that comes along with ads these days. Excuse me. But if you are using your old ads to create new ads, there's you can either, when you're in the Facebook ad interface, you can either create a new ad, or you can you choose one of your existing ads and choose the option to create a similar ad. If you choose that option to create a similar ad, you're not going to see these options. But if you choose the option to create a new ad, you will see this option where you can see here on the left-hand side, it shows you how it's going to look within people's news feeds. And so instead of just being on the right-hand side where you're going to see, where people see the ads, and really I think many people on Facebook are pretty adept at ignoring that right-hand side. Now you have the ability to put these ads in the newsfeed. And yes, many users of Facebook don't like these newsfeed ads, and it's a choice whether you want to sort of be intrusive in this way. However, the research is showing that ads in the newsfeed are in fact, more successful than ads on the right-hand side. So that's why I think it's worth trying out. Unless you really feel like you're going to get some negative feedback, or trying them out and seeing if there is any negative feedback, or if people, in fact, are clicking on that ad more because it's there in their feed. Yeah, you can also, I should mention along with this, choose whether or not to sort of add the social side of this. Right, we've all seen ads in our news feeds that say, here's an ad for Mashable, and then it shows me my friend so-and-so likes Mashable on Facebook. And you can choose whether or not to have that sort of additional step. Now, some people think, again, that that's sort of an intrusion of privacy. But again, that's something that makes the ads more successful if people see that their friends have already liked this company. Number 4, reach out to someone random on Twitter. The example that I'm going to show you here, Casey Deline, who is our project manager here at Pivot, wrote a blog article for Pivot back in February about a small and growing company called Everlane. And instead of just writing the blog about them and sort of letting it be, she actually then tweeted about it and tagged Everlane in the tweet. And you can see that they actually responded to it. And so when they respond to it, then it's showing up on their feed. People are able to see that they're interacting with Casey. One of the things that I've learned about Twitter, the more I use it, is that all sorts of random people will interact with you, and people who you think might not, reach out to you. Everlane is a big company that have no particular reason to follow up on a tweet from somebody they don't know well. But in fact, on Twitter, that happens all the time, right? We hear all sorts of stories of people interacting with celebrities or big companies or that sort of thing, and that tends to happen most, I think, on Twitter. So try reaching out to somebody random on Twitter, somebody who might be an interesting business connection, somebody who might be attractive for your, if your customers see that you're interacting with them, something that's going to sort of make a splash for you as a company. It's I think a little scary to reach out and contact that person the first time if you haven't already had a relationship with them through Twitter, but it really can, I think, pay off. Number 5, update your Google Plus profile picture. This is sort of a random one, but if you have not set up, well, first of all, if you have not set up your company on Google Plus and set up your Google Plus page, you really should. Google Plus pages are becoming more and more important in terms of your search engine optimization, and more than that, Google Plus it is starting to come into its own. It is being used more and more. In terms of the number of people that Google Plus has on it, it continues to rise. The amount of time that people are spending on it, using it, is rising, and so it is sort of starting to come into its own. It's still not a contender with Facebook, but it is very much sort of becoming more and more popular. I mentioned updating your Google Plus profile picture because if you are anything like me, you set up your Google Plus page a while back, and maybe your company page as well, before they started instituting cover photos, and then you sort of left it alone. And the nice thing about, Google Plus's profile pictures are actually really striking. They offer you a lot of real estate on their site for a cover photo. And I'm sorry, when this says profile picture, what I really mean is cover photo. I don't mean the little picture down here. I mean the big picture. Sorry, that's a typo there. So here, you know what we're going to do? Really fast. Look at this. This is This is webinars in the making right now. There you go. Update your Google Plus cover photo. Anyway, the cover photo really does take up a lot of real estate. It's responsive, so it adjusts with the size of the browser that people are using, and it really is a great way to make a splash for your brand as soon as people visit your page. So I do recommend going in and updating that cover photo. Number 6, on LinkedIn, recommend 5 people for unlisted skills. So when LinkedIn's recommendations first started coming out, this was several months ago, it was sort of exciting because you could list some of you had already listed some of the skills that you have on your LinkedIn profile, but now people could come and endorse you for various things. But now, even more than that, what I'm starting to see is people visiting my LinkedIn page, and they're endorsing me for skills that I haven't even listed. So they're saying, hey, we think this guy is good in this and in this also. And then you can come in, as you can see here in the screenshot, you can come into LinkedIn and determine whether or not you want to add those skills to your profile or not. And so I recommend going out and endorsing 5 people who are your LinkedIn connections for skills that they haven't actually listed. I think it's a great way to reach out to people and say, hey, I've noticed that you do a great job in this, and here I am endorsing you for it if you want to add that to your profile. I think it's just a great sort of networking tool if you use LinkedIn a lot for that. So if you haven't done that, I would say go out and do that. Number 7, hold an Instagram video or Vine contest. Instagram video and Vine were the subject of my last webinar, and we saw sort of how they work and the differences between them. And I really think that video contests with these 2 applications could be very fun. They are easy applications to use. They're apps that people can download easily. Many people already have Instagram. Vine is easy to get as well. So go ahead and run a contest built around one of these services, and whatever you want it to be. Funniest video of somebody using your products, or most coolest video of something in your local area, whatever it might be. But let people start playing around with these new technologies and show that you are sort of leading the way by thinking about these different kinds of contests. Number 8, solicit photos from your customers for Pinterest. So if you've already gotten your Pinterest site up and running, and maybe you are sort of feeling like you're hitting a dry well in terms of what you can post, ask your customers to start sending in their photos. People love to see their own pictures, online on a company's site of some kind, right? So they would love to see their pictures up on your Pinterest page. And people will have all sorts of fun and interesting ideas about the kind of photos that they might like to see on your page. And so let your customers do some of that creative work for you. Of course, you can have editorial control. You don't have to post everything that comes your way. But in general, you'll probably be surprised and impressed by what your customers come up with. This is also another great opportunity for doing some sort of fun contest with your customers, and so that's something as well that I would think about doing. And even I would say not only solicit photos from your customers, but solicit ideas for different kinds of pin boards. What should a topic of ours be? What would you like to see us covering in a sort of a visual way? And again, people are going to come up with ideas that you hadn't even thought of. So it really could be very useful for you in that regard. Number 9, customize your YouTube or Vimeo channel. You've probably set up a YouTube or a Vimeo page, but if you go to, in our case, youtube.com/pivotgroup LLC, you can see right now this is what it looks like. We really have not done much, but you can, if you want to, right? You can create some artwork for your channel up at the top. It's like a cover photo for your YouTube page. You can create a trailer for your channel, which is sort of fun, a sort of introduction to the kinds of video content that people are going to be seeing. on your site. And so go ahead and do some of this customization. Write a description. You can see here the things. It's very helpful. It gives you this sort of checklist for things you might be able to do. Give a description to your channel. Tell people what they can expect to see in terms of the video content on YouTube or Vimeo. Vimeo has similar tools to this. So go ahead and do that customization, because with YouTube, more and more people are not only looking at the videos, but they're going to see, okay, what else is this organization done? What else have they put out? And so if you have an attractive looking channel, that's going to help people get more interested in your content as you go along. And number 10, is sort of my catch-all idea here. Spend 15 minutes brainstorming what you might do about in services like Pandora, Spotify, thinking about a little bit more about Google AdWords and whether you would want to do that. Flickr, Groupon. There are so many services out there, and companies are doing some really creative things in terms of how to use these specific services. I mentioned a couple webinars ago that Carnival Cruise Lines put together a specific Pandora playlist that was all about, it was a playlist full of songs, with sort of tropical themes, so the Beach Boys and things like that. And that was a way of sort of, talking about their brand and basically where they were going to take people in sort of a fun way. And it was very much targeted because they knew that the people on Pandora were the sorts of people that they were looking for to take their cruises, and it was a very successful campaign for them. So just spend some time, thinking about these other services that are out there that may not be top of mind for you, and how you might use them, or whether or not the investment with them, if there is some, especially in the case of Google AdWords or Groupon or something like that, whether or not the investment really makes sense for you. There's a huge world of social media and related sort of online services out there, and the opportunities, I think, are vast to reach customers in new ways. So those are my 10 things to do that you've never done, if you haven't done them. I see a question here, so I want to make sure I answer that. The question is, does Pinterest have a filter to allow us to approve the photos before they post to our account? The way I would probably handle that, I don't know that Pinterest has a direct filter. And in fact, people, I don't believe, can. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Pinterest does allow you to set up, when you set up a pin board, to say, yes, I want somebody to be able to post to this or not. I have not seen something on Pinterest where they actually give you approval, editorial sort of approval, like check with me before I approve somebody's picture. What I would do if I were doing this sort of soliciting photos from customers for Pinterest, I would actually have them email them to me or something like that. And then I would decide which ones to post, and I would probably maintain editorial control over it that way. Or I would make it clear in sort of the description of the pin board. If you are making it a pin board where anybody can post to, I would make it clear that your company exercises editorial control and is going to be checking the photos for their appropriateness, whether it's appropriateness in general or sort of appropriateness to the theme or whatever. Before, basically you're reserving the right to delete if you need to. So I would handle it one of those two ways: either have people email you the photos and you do the uploading, or making sure that you've made it clear that you're going to take editorial control. Another question here: any reason not to do conversion tracking? That's on Facebook. There's really no reason not to do it, except, well, the two things I can think of. First of all, if you don't know how to do it, that's obviously going to stop you. Whoever is managing your website can help you with that. Pivot can certainly help you with that. The other reason that I think is sort of the bigger reason is, it may not be that you have some sort of process on your website that you want to track, right? I can think of some of our companies that run Facebook ads with us, and what they do is they will post a Facebook ad, that goes to a landing page that offers information about a promotion, but the call to action is really to pick up the phone and call the company. And so in that case, there's not going to be anything where you can actually track, okay, did this person, you know, I mean, all they're ever getting to is a landing page. It's not like they are making a purchase online where you could track at the confirmation page, you know, the yes, okay, congratulations, your order has been placed page, you know, putting a tracking pixel there. So, you know, I think that's the bigger reason. If you have something some sort of process on your website that you actually want people to do, whether it's checking out or whatever it is, I would definitely do this conversion tracking. I think there is no reason not to do it. And then one last question here. Do I have to join Google Plus? This is an interesting question. You don't. Well, you do sort of have to join Google Plus. And what I mean by that is Google has sort of moved to the point where any Google user, if you have a profile set up with Google, you are sort of automatically being given a Google Plus profile. And so in that sense, yes, if you are using Google, if you have a profile, yes, you do sort of have to join Google Plus because they've already created a page for you, whether you know it or not. Now, I mentioned a few webinars ago that is one way in which I think Google Plus's numbers are sort of artificially inflated in terms of the number of users they have. But it's something that you need to be aware of, especially if you have a Google account for your company. Just recently, I was on our YouTube channel, and of course, YouTube is owned by Google. And in fact, it was when I was setting up this webinar and doing some of the screenshots there. YouTube had been warning me for a while that it was going to force me to either pick a name to go with, or it was going to force me to just use my username as my name. And so basically, when I set it up this week, I had to make the choice. Okay, am I going to be Pivot Group, or am I going to be Pivot Group LLC? Well, Google did not accept Pivot Group as a viable name because it's looking for names of actual individuals. So of course, they have tools. I'm sure it's the word group that didn't help it well, and probably the word pivot didn't help either. So it was not accepting that as a viable name, and so it forced me to use Pivot Group LLC. And what happened then is that the automatic Google Plus page that is created for Pivot Group now shows us as Pivot Group LLC. When somebody types in the email address associated with this account into Gmail, it's showing up as Pivot Group LLC. So you do need to be aware of your Google profile in general. Now, happily, our official Pivot Group Google Plus page is actually set up through my personal Google Plus account, so it didn't touch that and change the name there, and that's set up as a company page. So there are ways sort of around this, but yes, you probably do have a Google Plus profile, and certainly for companies, if you have a company Google account that you use for whatever it is online, you might want to check out your Google Plus account to see what's happening there and what's visible to the public. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more question that just came in here. Where can I find more information on company Google Plus accounts? I'm sure that if you Google Google Plus company pages, you can find information about how to get those set up. I can certainly help you with that as well if you drop me an email. But basically, it's very similar to Facebook. You set up official company pages through personal Google Plus accounts. So when I say that I had this issue with the Pivot Group Google Plus account, that's because really ultimately that it's sort of this weird gray area where I set up a Google Plus individual profile for Pivot Group, which is a company. So it gets a little fuzzy. But in terms of setting up Google Plus company pages, that is something that happens through your individual Google Plus account. And then you can have multiple administrators and things like that. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. The next Straight Talk on Social Media webinar will be Friday, September 13th, Friday the 13th. You heard it here first. And it's going to be on social media and the holidays. By September, we're going to start pushing the edge of the holiday season, thinking of Halloween, Thanksgiving, and December holidays. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some fun social media campaigns you might do during the holiday season to get you ready for that. Dave Newstarden's next Straight Talk on Telco Marketing webinar for our telecommunications clients will be Wednesday the 28th at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great weekend. Remember to keep your media social and your talk straight.